Herzlich willkommen. Es ist Montagabend und es ist Pirates Cove Time. Und ihr seht heute neben mir einen super gut aussehenden jungen Mann, Nick Garrett, our guest tonight.
Guten Abend.
And here we go on my right side. No, not this. I have to show this. Sean, you're here. Like, there's Sean Shelton. Sean.
So how would we give each other a high five? I would have to do.
Wait a second. I need to turn you a little bit louder for us.
So okay.
Yeah, perfect.
How would we give each other a high five? Like I would have to.
No,
Is that right?
Other side. Like,
I have to go this way.
yeah, like,
Like this? Yeah.
exactly.
I'm
Yeah,
doing well.
guten Abend. We say hello to our second Twitch studio in St. Johann. Sean Shelton is there. And in our first Twitch studio, Nick Garrett. And my name is Paul. We are here in Innsbruck. And yeah, we are really happy to have another show. Nick, how are you doing?
Yeah, doing well. Doing well. Good camp, and now we're getting ready for the next week. So, just happy to be with you, Paul.
That's great. How was your day?
Yeah, long day. Got here bright and early in the morning, did a little football, then taught some girls how to play flag football.
Are you a teacher, right?
Yeah, doing after school program
Perfect.
on Mondays.
And now you're here
And now I'm here
in the Twitch
with
studio.
you lovely fellows.
Perfekt. An euch da draußen, wenn ihr Fragen habt an Nick, an Sean oder an mich, dann schreibt sie rein. Wir hoffen, dass technisch alles funktioniert. Es schaut aber gut aus. Sean with 2 camera angles. Beautiful, Sean. Beautiful. But your head is a little bit cut off. So,
I know it's a work in progress, guys.
ja. Also, auf jeden Fall heute wieder eine spannende Show mit vielen Themen für euch. Ja, und jetzt war es... es war auch ein langer Tag für mich, muss ich ehrlich sagen. Ich habe nämlich auch nicht so viel geschlafen, because I was having a little party last night.
Oh.
It was my birthday.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So, I'm a little
Happy
bit...
belated birthday.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You only turned 40 once.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I feel like 20.
And you look like 22.
Hey, age is just a number.
Exactly. Aber jetzt starten wir rein ins volle Programm für die heutige Show. Also Nick Garrett, heute unser Coach. Nick Garrett ist wer es noch nicht weiß, unser Defensive Coordinator vom AFL-Team. Und wir werden später ganz viel mit ihm über seine Football-Karriere reden, über die Raiders reden, über die AFL reden und natürlich auch ein bisschen was about your really exciting time at USC. We will talk also, because we announced it. It's not often that you have a USC Division 1, former Division 1 linebacker sitting next to you. So I'm very proud and blessed. Is this the right word?
That's very sincere.
It's probably the first time I am sitting next to a Division 1 linebacker.
Okay, well, there you go.
What's USC?
University of Southern California.
South Carolina.
No.
Carolina.
California.
The real USA.
Yeah.
University of Southern.
Are they older than
Charleston.
1880? Probably, maybe.
I don't know. We're about. They might be. To be honest.
East Coast.
We're
Okay.
about to find out.
We will talk about USC later. But first, we start with news around the club. Basketball läuft gerade gar nicht gut. Wir hängen leider immer noch hinterher, was die ganzen Covid-Ausfälle anging und mussten leider gestern gegen Fürstenfeld eine erneute Niederlage einstecken. Und nächstes Wochenende nächste Chance, Doubleheader. Samstag um 18 Uhr im Landessportcenter und am Sonntag gleich nochmal 18:30 Uhr im Landessportcenter. Kommt auf jeden Fall zu den Spielen. Es sind die letzten beiden Regular Season Games und dann gehen die Playoffs los. Wir sind aktuell auf Platz 2. Also in den Playoffs sind wir mal sicher, aber wir wollen natürlich auf dem Top-Spot bleiben und würde uns freuen, wenn wieder viele Leute ins Landessportcenter kommen. Dann Season Tickets. Season Ticket Sales started for the ELF and already started for the AFL a couple of weeks ago. Ihr sollt solltet euch schleunigst eure Tickets holen, wenn ihr die Top-Plätze haben wollt. Und für die AFL hat jetzt sogar auch der Ticketvorverkauf für das erste Heimspiel am 9.4. gegen die Vienna Vikings gestartet. Also ihr könnt euch jetzt auch die Einzeltickets kaufen. Wer also Nick Garrett at the Sideline, wer das sehen will, muss sich auf jeden Fall AFL-Tickets besorgen. Und wer Sean Shelton at the Sideline and also on the field sehen will, muss sich die ELF-Tickets kaufen. Das mal dazu. Sean, do you have any news you want to tell us?
I do. University of South Carolina was established in 1801.
Yeah, there you go.
Nick. So.
That's not a news.
Yeah, that's kind of
Well,
old.
I mean, it's.
We live in the
news to
moment
me.
here, Sean.
I see. I gotcha.
Carpe diem, you know. Seize the day.
I don't
Seize
speak
the moment.
Spanish.
Yeah,
I
that's Latin
don't
for you,
speak
buddy.
Spanish. Yeah. What's the difference?
Oh, ooh. You can ask Barcelona when you play them.
They speak their own special. We're getting off track. They
I
They
can
speak
leave if you
Catalina,
want to
right?
talk about Spanish and colleges. I can. I have other stuff to do.
No, I'm good. I'm good. No, Paul, I have no news for you.
No, there were not really a lot of things the last week. Our AFL team had a camp. We will talk about that later too. But outside of that, not a lot happened. So let's go to our guest, Nick Garrett. Born and raised in California.
That's right.
So here in Europe, we call you guys like the surfer boys.
Yeah.
Do you describe yourself also as a surfer boy?
Well, you know, strangely enough, I was born with curly blonde hair.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is there a picture in the internet?
And there is.
Oh, really?
Well, on the internet, probably not.
Okay.
Maybe if my mom's watching.
If there
she'll
is, I'm
probably
gonna
post
find
something
it.
pretty soon. Yeah. And then, yeah, right around 3 or 4, I started turning brown.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So you were a really surfer kid.
Yeah,
boy.
yeah. I was born in Santa Monica, so there you go. And then moved up to Lake Tahoe, which is actually a lot like Innsbruck. So
In the mountains.
in the mountains, yeah, Sierra Nevadas.
Sean, are you jealous?
I'm jealous. I'm jealous of curly blonde hair. Yes, but if we could, Paul, maybe I don't know if you have this capability lined up, but Nick Garrett's USC profile picture.
It's crazy. We will show it later.
Yeah, you look insane, Nick. You look like a murderer.
I mean,
Very intimidating. Extremely intimidating. I mean, wow.
Yeah, I have
But
one of those.
No,
Old school neck rolls there.
no, but it's just a headshot.
Oh,
you look absolutely
you have to show this.
possessed.
for the people.
You look possessed.
Yeah, that was the year all the linebackers grew out their hair.
Where is it now?
Wow.
There it is.
There it is. Yeah.
In comparison, Paul, if you Google Sean Shelton William Jewell and look at my profile picture, there's not a headshot. It's just a game photo.
I'm convinced that they purposely try to get the worst photos, you know, in those.
There is no.
Anyways,
Yeah.
no, but I am jealous of an upbringing in Santa Monica, California. Yes, I've never been out there, but I've heard it's beautiful, and Lake Tahoe, for that matter. Two not bad regions of the world to.
Yeah, I usually say I
home,
grew
I
up in
guess.
Lake Tahoe since that's where I went to primary school and secondary.
But my most important question is: can you surf?
No, so you know, everybody in the Garrett family has big butts, and so we get up on the surfboard, but
Yeah, you do.
those butts definitely are high in the
Okay.
air, so we got to counterbalance that. You know?
Is that a bad thing in surfing? High butts? You want a low butt.
Yeah. I mean, you want to try to steer more with your I think it's your front foot. So, yeah.
Okay. So Fleisch Phillip would probably be a great surfer.
Because he's so small or what?
Yeah.
He's got a low butt.
Okay, yeah, that's right. But you already mentioned it. When you were 4 years old, you moved to, I said it wrong, right?
Lake Tahoe.
Tahoe.
Yeah, South Lake Tahoe. Yeah, actually when it was 7 or 8. So there was a huge earthquake because, California, there's a lot of earthquakes. Yeah. And so our family moved up to South Lake Tahoe. And
because it's safer. It was safer.
It was just safer. But then my parents always loved that area, so it was a good place to grow up. Lots of mountains, lots of same activities you got here. So
cool. And you went to high school there?
Went to high school there. Yeah.
And when did you started playing football?
Started playing started playing flag at 8 years old.
Sean, flag football. Because Sean loves flag football.
Yeah.
He's, I think, the biggest fan of flag football you can ever imagine, and he says it's the perfect start for kids to become familiar with the.
Well, I do have to say the boys in this after school program are a little emasculated because the girls are quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna.
I mean, Paul, I played flag football when I was 6 too. I mean, and then at 7 I played tackle because I wasn't allowed to play tackle yet.
Yeah, but at 10 years old I put the pads on.
Yeah.
So my mom wanted to make sure I was safe enough. So.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Für euch eine Frage da draußen. Es kann aber auch sein, dass es an meinem Stecker liegt. Hört ihr den Sean auch etwas abgehackt oder ist es nur? Do you hear Sean?
Yeah, sometimes it goes out, but I
think it's our system
Okay.
here, because we have attached like an adapter, you would say in German. Wenn ihr einen Sean gut hört, bitte schreibt mal eine 1 rein. Wenn es irgendwelche Störungen gibt, dann sagt auch Bescheid. Und ich sehe gerade, wir haben.
Chat.
Ich habe ja ein Problem, der Chat, ich habe
One's in the chat.
Ich habe nur auf Emote-Chat gestellt. Wieso denn das? So, jetzt können alle chatten. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, jetzt der Chat free. 1, sehr gut. Jetzt könnt ihr Chat schreiben, eure Fragen. Er war gesperrt.
1 in the chat. 1 in the chat.
Yeah, there you go.
Alright.
Hallo, Leute. So, yeah, so you started playing flag football, then you went to what is, how you call it, before high school? Like primary school?
Yeah, elementary school, middle school, high
middle
school. Yeah, played Pop Warner.
Yeah. And then you played high school football, and is it true? Because I tried to do some research. Is it true that you were the fastest kid on the team, and you had still the record in kickoff and punt return touchdowns for your high school team?
Well, I definitely wasn't the fastest. I didn't know where you got
Say
that
yes.
stat. Yeah,
No.
I guess yes.
The only answer is yes. What are you talking about?
I mean,
yes, 100%.
Sean also has still for his high school the longest punt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he holds the record for the longest punt. Or did
The longest punt and the most interceptions.
Yeah.
The second one might be true. Actually.
No, just kidding. But you were an athlete, and you played which position in high school?
Yeah, so Lake Tahoe is about 20,000 people. So as you can imagine, there's small pickings for players. So everybody's got to go both ways. So played linebacker and played offensive guard because I was also the biggest and strongest. And then played a little bit of tight end and
Taught you how to be a man, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. And that was high school. Actually, my first year playing, I was a quarterback.
Oh, wow.
So I'm right-handed, so for all the passes going to the right, I was right-handed, and we had a left-handed quarterback, and he would go do all the passes to the left. Yeah, that's my dad, Coach Dad. Yep, that's you.
Bold strategy, Dad.
Ja.
Ganz kurz an den Chat, eure Fragen, wir heben die uns auf, die beantworten wir auf jeden Fall dann alle noch. Aber jetzt machen wir dabei mit Nick weiter. Nick, which position did you like, or which side of the ball did you prefer at that time? Have you been happy with guard and tight end, or was linebacker already your passion?
Well,
at that time?
I loved the game. I loved having guys together and that camaraderie. But it was in Pop Warner Junior Midgets. I had a coach who was a former Special Forces Marine.
Okay.
He had just gotten out of the Gulf War, so he was a bit of high strung, and but it was a way to love the sport away from where I grew up, you know, from the home, and so he kind of put in this more of an attitude and mentality to the game that I kind of grew around, and then just started loving linebacker, loving the defensive side of the ball, and ruining everything for the offense, because that's always really fun, you know.
Have you been like this? Have you been a player who was just successful because of your ability, your athletic abilities, or have you been a student of the game? Like, did you read the quarterback and the eye of the quarterback, and did you, or what was your strength?
My strength was more my smartness, so really playing smart, but then I also loved being physical.
Yeah.
So I wasn't the most athletic, but I know I was smart and physical, so
Perfect.
I kind of just tried to use that. By the way, Pop Warner is an old football player, and so there's two different youth sports, and Pop Warner is an old football player who kind of started youth football. So.
And these leagues are named by him, after him, right?
Yeah.
And then high school was over, and you were sitting there, and you had the dream of staying a football player. So
yeah,
how was it at that time? Did you got offers from colleges? Tell us a little bit about the process, and then why you picked USC.
Yeah, well, I grew up in a USC home, and so grew up watching USC games and going to USC games, and then you watch the Rudy film, and so you're like, oh, I'm just like that kid, right? And so then you start having the dream, like, I want to go play for USC. I want to play for USC, and then it just kind of overwhelms. It just frames your entire youth experience.
So it was always your dream.
It was the dream to go
be
play.
a Trojan someday.
Yeah, to be a Trojan. I went to all the camps. I got MVP in the youth camps there, and got to know all the coaches, and so I was on a first name basis with a lot of them, even like when I was young, and just but I kept pushing myself, because I knew I wasn't a Brian Cushing or Ray Malaluga. I wasn't going to be a starter, but I wanted to be on the team. And so I just kept pushing, and then they were recruiting me. I was on the list, and then I got one of 5 walk-on spots my senior year.
5
out of the country. Yeah.
Wow. And so there was no other option for you.
There were some other options. I ended up actually getting hurt my senior year. I had some nerve damage. And so then I had to stop playing halfway through my senior year, which Sean knows senior year is your golden year. Yeah. So I was a bit devastated, but I had already kind of made a name myself, and then did a bunch of rehabilitation. So a lot of other offers had kind of dropped off, or they weren't really appealing to me. And then these guys were still willing to take a chance, because they knew how much I.
For the audience,
you sound like you were the easiest recruit ever. Like, yeah, he's been coming to our youth camps for years. He calls me by my first name. We got this guy. You know what I mean? Pencil him in. You were probably in 8th grade, and they penciled you into the.
Yeah, I don't know if his name's still around, but there was a guy, Greg. I think it was almost similar to Lebowski, but it was something Babowski, something like that. And we had his exact address, and back in that day, they didn't have Huddle, they didn't have all this digital, so you had to send the VHS tapes, and we would send a tape every week, and he's like, okay, we'll take you as long as you stop sending us these tapes.
That's the way you had to do it, though.
Yeah.
For the people out there who don't know the college system a lot, what does walk-on mean?
Yeah, so Division I, there are 85 full scholarships. So scholarships, they pay for school, and then they also give you a bit of a stipend every month, which still isn't much. And then the walk-ons, you have to kind of pay yourself on, or you take out a student loan and you pay for classes and tuition all on your own. And then but they don't just take anybody. Each team has, I don't know if it's still the same, but it's 105 players on the roster
in total.
And so in general, each year they take around 5 walk-ons.
So they have the 85 scholarships, so not full, right? Or
full scholarships.
85 full scholarships.
Yeah, football is full scholarship.
Only full. In Division 1, they're not allowed to break up scholarships.
Okay.
It's only full scholarships.
And then they fill it up with 5 per year
of walk-ons.
So then you were a walk-on, and you were in a team of pretty good football players.
Yeah. Well, not just a team, also position group.
Also position group. And at that time, and I don't know if they've been older than you or maybe same class, but there were some really famous names in your linebacker group.
Yeah.
Clay Matthews.
Yeah, and
Brian
he actually
Cushing.
wasn't the most famous. So,
who was the most famous?
Yeah, no, so he was a walk-on as well.
Oh, really?
He was the walk-on the year before I was.
Crazy.
And then he earned his scholarship his third year, and then the year after I earned my scholarship.
Okay, and so with these guys, how was it? How? Because I mean, I wasn't following college football at that time. I only know these guys from the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, they were so dominant in the NFL, and I can remember Brian Cushing when he got drafted in his first season, he smashed himself with a helmet. He broke his nose. He was running around. He was hitting hard. Like they were like monsters.
Yeah, they were children.
All natural too, Brian Cushing.
Yeah,
there are photos, from his last college game and then draft time or something.
Yeah,
a lot of
football.
A lot of lifting, let's say this.
Kush, that's all legend. Kush, it's all legend.
But tell us a little bit about these guys and the atmosphere in the linebacker room and the work ethic, because I can imagine you guys were just crazy on the field, on the practice field.
Well, we were crazy in the locker room too. I mean, you got Ray Maluga, you got Kaluka Mayava, you got Brian Cushing, Keith Rivers, and all these guys went into the league, and they were all highly recruited when they came. And you walk in, and these guys are they're supposedly your same age, and and they're just massive, and they're not only massive but running circles around you. So the game was even fast for them, and so the only thing I knew I could compete with was just if in the beginning we talked, I was a physical player, but then I was a smart player, and so I had to really up my game when it came to being smart, and I had to be this utility player that knew all the positions, whereas they had the luxury of being recruited and getting a scholarship, and they knew that they were going to play in this particular position. So I had to kind of take mental reps because I wasn't getting a lot of reps.
Yeah.
And I remember going to Coach Norton saying, "Hey, can I get a couple reps?" And he goes, "Well, we didn't invest in you."
Yeah. So the first years were probably just hard work, and you were hoping.
Yeah, no, hard work, getting that head banged, and yeah.
How were your grades at that time? You studied major history, right?
Yeah, studied history and philosophy, and then went on, got a master's and stuff. But my first year was a really tough year because I was away from home for the first time, trying to, you do laundry, you try to take care of everything of yourself when you're 18 years old. That's tough stuff. And then getting your head knocked in, and all the things that you used to excel at are just you're starting to drown. And for luck, there's good people on the football team and around the football team, and so they would really take me under the wing and
helped you
and help me, and yeah, and I'll always look back at that as some of my formidable years of really growing. So
cool. Sean, before I continue, do you have any questions about his first years at college?
Are you moving on from USC?
No, I have one last topic about USC, or two more topics.
Then I'm good.
Okay, so then the day came where you got how you say, promoted on the team or to the scholarship, or
Yeah.
how you say,
yeah.
there are some videos online where you see like team huddle, and then the coach announces, "Hey, Samuel, Sean?" Like, it's already in my head. Inside joke.
Good name.
Okay, all right.
Between Sean and me. And then
name.
Samuel, you earned your scholarship, and then the team hyped and were screaming. Was it the same with you? That
Yeah. So, I mean, they were already kind of in the beginning of the year. They always think, okay, who's getting paid,
Yeah.
right? And you already kind of keep an eye. Okay, who's going to be the walk-on that earns a scholarship this year? Because they always keep at least one or two guys that will get paid. And I thought, yeah, I mean, I've put in my work, and I'm pretty close to being on all the special teams. And,
you were waiting for them.
And rotating in, yeah. And I still remember sitting in with my cutoff shirt, and then sitting in front of Clay and Cush and Ray, and then and then all of a sudden they show my highlights of that day, and I go, oh fuck, here it goes. And then all of a sudden Cush and Clay rip off my shirt, and they just say, yeah, he's getting paid. They throw water and everything. I think I ended up leaving the place like half naked.
Oh, really? But this was like probably, I can imagine, a really cool moment, because everything paid off. Probably.
Yeah, no,
all the hard work.
No, I mean, it was a proud moment for me, but it was also it was a proud moment for my family as well, because everybody was involved, and so yeah.
And then how was it to play in the Coliseum the first time and being on the field as a Trojan? Can you still remember that moment?
Yeah, I remember walking down that tunnel, and we had our chant that says, we are ready, right? Yeah. And the way the Coliseum is shaped is that you walk down and you don't see the crowd. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, the first game I played in was Arkansas. So it wasn't sold out, but, still walking in and seeing it from from TV, and everything just opens up, and then you hear that warm crowd coming in.
It was just...
yeah.
Nice. We had a question also about your time at USC. Who was the quarterback at your time?
Yeah, so the first quarterback was Matt Leinart,
Mm-hmm.
and then we had John David Booty.
Booty,
yeah. He was a highly recruited quarterback from Louisiana, and then we had Mark Sanchez,
mm-hmm.
and then Matt Barkley was the last one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Sean, do you know any of these guys?
Sure, I know all of them. Obviously, the interesting thing for me, though, for the quarterbacks, is John David Booty was so highly recruited, but he didn't really have an NFL career, correct?
No, I don't even think he really wanted one after.
Okay, interesting.
But he was,
because he had a pretty good season.
Yeah, but he had that Southern hospitality. It's just like one of the nicest guys you could ever have. And I don't know if for LA, that's a tough place for a nice Southern boy. It's tough. It's a tough place. But yeah.
Okay, and then my last question to USC is: your coach was already really famous and is maybe now more famous than at that time, Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
How was he as a coach, and tell us a little bit about him, maybe how he motivated you guys, because on the media you only hear and see good things about him, mm-hmm. and he is kind of this super nice, open-minded football coach.
Yeah.
How was it with him?
Yeah, it's positive is the name of his game, and all about competition. And I really still don't know when the guy slept.
Okay.
And it was, he carried this philosophy of competition everywhere with him, and on and off the field. I mean, in LA, he also did stuff at 2 a.m. With the Crips and the Bloods, right? And he would go on the street and just trying to create peace amongst that conflict. And he would get phone calls.
God, I thought you were going to say competition.
Yeah, no, but he would use that. He'd say, imagine if we competed, because it's more of a competition to be peaceful than it is to be conflictual, right?
Yeah.
And you have to. It's too easy to get angry. And then he would use that also on the field. It's too easy to just throw punches, and the real thing is, can you protect the team, and can you compete in all phases of your own life to get better, right? Do it better than no one's ever done it before. And
so he was always pushing you guys, and it was...
Yeah, but it was not like it was kind of, if I say brainwash, but you start thinking that you can do stuff you never believed you could ever do before. And he had this unique ability of taking guys that you never would have expected to do stuff that no one else thought, even that person himself was never able to do on a field.
Interesting. And I mean, how I talked a little bit with some guys from the Division 1, because here in Europe, everybody is in contact with every coach somehow. Also, if it's not your direct position coach, you know him, you see him. But then when I talk to college players, they always say, yeah, there is this guy, he's our head coach or our defense coordinator or other position coach, and they don't really have contact. How was Pete Carroll? Was he caring about everybody? So was he walking around and talk to every group and every player?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't... It didn't matter whether you were a walk-on or if you were, Matt Leinart or Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
He was on a first-name basis, and he knew you, and he knew your whole backstory, and he also had a house, or he had his uncle that lived near Tahoe, and so he would always talk about, hey, we got to go on the boat next summer, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so he was always there, always knew that you knew him. Mm-hmm. And he was always roaming around, and you'd see him wherever. And he was just he tried to be as much of a player coach as he possibly could, but he always put his position coaches on a more intimate basis with those players. So as much as friendly as Pete was, the players on the team had a much more intimate relationship, almost family-like relationship with their position coaches.
So he picked his staff also very wisely.
Yeah.
Okay. And we will talk about it later.
Well, it's almost like the stereotype, like relationships that was always like your position coach is like a big brother, your coordinator is like an uncle, and the head coach is fatherly, I should say.
But you see, we had Ken Norton Jr. as our linebacker coach. And and he was considered like a father figure for guys like Brian Cushing and Ray, and to some extent myself when I was trying to compete for jobs as well in that scenario. So he would always bring us over to his house in Redondo Beach, and we would always barbecue and have a linebacker type of crew together.
Which was probably really important. Like you said, in your first year, you were 18, 19 years old, first time away from home. Yeah. And so these characters and these persons were probably really important for you guys, for the young men there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you grow up watching these guys on TV, Ken Norton Jr., and now he's your coach. Yeah. And so, you have to kind of work beyond that whole awe, even Pete Carroll. Now we're not awe. We have to try to take in what they're saying and use it and bring in that kind of arrogance to say, I am a player and I can compete, and you're going to put me on that field.
Crazy. To end the USC time maybe a little bit, there was one question.
I have a question.
Okay, but let's say take one from the chat. Somebody asked if Pete Carroll ever offered you a chewing gum, because if you see him on TV, it's like.
Yeah, well, they do have the only time that they allow the players to have chewing gum, at least in college, and in the pros is a bit different. In college, is on Fridays before the game. So the Fridays are the walkthrough, and so they put the whole big chew right next to in the equipment room as you walk out.
Okay, so while practice, you guys are all at
no, Pete's got one of those job muscles that probably nobody else has.
Sean, your question.
Yeah, I think a lot of European guys, part of the allure of going to play college in the States is the culture and the environment of being a student athlete in the States, and being in a campus or being in a tight-knit community with all similar age people. That's not really the culture in Europe, which leads me to think you guys were a perennial powerhouse with world-class athletes on your team. What were the after game parties and the extracurricular activities outside football like at that time? Because I imagine it had to be at times just absurd.
You know, we really only had one big party, and that was after the Rose Bowls.
Okay.
You know, every once in a while we'd go, but you know, on a college campus, the big parties are the fraternities, right? And the fraternities don't really like the football players always coming in
because they are sometimes are not the nicest, or they take all the girls, right?
Well, the football team is a fraternity, right?
Yeah.
So
well, an acronym Coach Norton always said was keep your vest on, and the vest are what are your values, what is your effort or your energy, what are you sacrificing, and what is the truth of your life. So he was like, keep your vests on.
Yeah. So he sounds like a party animal.
Hey, he's got some dance moves.
I bet.
Okay, let's move on. We already it's gonna be a longer show tonight maybe. And then your college time was over.
Yeah.
And you probably didn't saw a big chance to go to the NFL. I don't know, maybe did you had some?
Well, you know, at SC it really is a business. Yeah. And you know, like Sean was saying, it's so grueling because you're going to class and then you got football and you don't really have a lot of time for personal life. Yeah. And by the end, with the stress of excellence, right? Because there's nothing beyond excellence at USC. Yeah. That you need to succeed. I was kind of getting a little bored with football, and I didn't know if I really wanted to play anymore.
Oh, okay.
I was
fed up.
I was kind of fed up with it, and I didn't really. I mean, I did some interviews, and I remember the initial when the scouts come, but I didn't really push hard at all. And I mean, I wasn't really on anybody's list to begin with, but. My coach in high school actually, in South Lake Tahoe, played quarterback for Garratt when Garratt was really good.
Oh, what was his name?
Eric Beavers.
Oh no, that's maybe a long time ago.
Yeah, in the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah. And and he led them to some Euro Bowls and Austrian championships, and met his wife over there, and then he moved obviously back to the U.S. and you know, I talked to him from time to time, and he said, what are you going to do? And I said, I don't really know. You know, I'm now done with college and I don't know what to do. And he says, well, why don't you come coach some high school, and you know, and then I can hook you up with the teams in Europe. And so that's kind of how that whole thing worked through. I was talking with Garratt and some other teams, and then traveled a little bit first, and then said, yeah, okay, I could do this. So I went and traveled and went to Salzburg. And
when was it? In 2011 or 12?
2011.
11. And I can remember the press release about you. Like, it was my second year with the Raiders, yeah.
Okay.
And I saw the press release, Salzburg Bulls are signing a former USC linebacker. Then I did some research and I saw who you played with, and I was scared. I was really scared. I said, "Oh my God, who is coming there?" Then I saw your college profile picture, and
This is possessed.
and I was an unexperienced offensive lineman at that time, and I asked myself, okay, if I need to pick up a blitz from him, that's gonna be tough. And then
Kyle would have helped you out there.
Kyle, he was running away. Because we didn't have the best offensive line at that time, and Kyle was the quarterback. It was just he helped us because he didn't get sacked, and we didn't get the punishment from coach for that. Yeah. But then you played. It was one season, right? You were
played one season
in Salzburg, and how was it for you coming from USC, playing in front of 10,000 of people? Like you said, you lived for excellence.
Yeah.
Everything was no personal life. It was all about football, all about USC, all about this stuff. And then you came to Europe, and how was it a culture shock, or have your old coach prepared you a bit? Like, don't expect that somebody washes your practice gear. Yeah. Don't accept 50,000 people in the stadium. Was it like this? Or?
Yeah, I mean, he did give me an idea. Listen, I mean, you're getting paid to kind of travel and play some football and have some fun, right? Yeah. And so he did prepare me. But then there's certain things that are just kind of get ingrained in you that you just expect, you know? You don't expect that there's going to be less than 20 guys at practice. So, and sometimes you get that, and you have to kind of make the best of the all worlds. But that's all over Europe and to some extent. So, no, it was real interesting. To me it felt like trying to practice with a American softball, a men's American softball team, right? and trying to play in a dangerous sport like a men's softball team. Yeah. But no, it was great, and I still have lots of friends and great experiences in all those places I played. So.
Awesome. And was it your first time in Europe, or did you travel before? Was it?
Yeah, I did a trip around Europe first, and kind of went around, and I had some like family friends, and I have distant relatives in Italy. There's a Garrett family in Italy, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And near
Do
Rome.
you have an Italian passport?
No.
Could you get one? Did you try it?
Now that you mention it, I never thought about that. But
I heard it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Ask Mike.
Yeah. I think it has to be a relative above you, though, like a grandparent. But I'm not sure.
I think so.
So, yeah.
And then you decided, hey, I like Europe, I like football, and then from the middle of Europe in Salzburg, you said, hey, let's go to the north.
Yeah. Well, first I wanted to try to do Canadian football. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually still got some hunger in me, so I did some combines, and that didn't really work out. And then a team in Oulu, Finland asked me.
Okay.
So I went to the Northern Lights, the Oulu Northern Lights up in Finland. And
Sean, did you play them?
No, I've never heard of that.
Because Sean played in Finland too.
They have hunter orange as their color.
Awesome.
Yeah, and actually our coach was Cam Olsen.
Oh, yeah. Cam Olsen.
Yeah. So we actually had a pretty good squad.
And Cam Olsen was
Kalanda.
Yeah, and he was here.
And he was here, yeah.
What was he coaching? Receivers or quarterbacks?
Or running backs, maybe.
Some offensive position.
Yeah.
In 2010, he was here.
Yeah.
I'm curious, Nick. You said when you were losing USC or leaving USC, you were uncertain about your football future, and you were kind of fed up, maybe burnt out. What about your experience in Salzburg that kind of relit the fire to get you to potentially even want to join the Canadian Football League?
Yeah, I think it was the idea that if you think of it in terms of like a scout team, you know, and you think, because the purpose of scout teams are to help the first team feel good and execute their plays. And so when I started realizing that, I actually can still do this, and I'm not too shabby, why don't I give it a full shot and train, because I'm still young, and so knowing that I could still play and still could play at a high level, and I was still healthy enough and I wanted to, because that, for me, the biggest factor is that if you don't have the motivation, desire, and the passion to do it, then you shouldn't be doing it. And that's something Norton always said, because guys would always come in and say, I don't know whether I should retire or not. And he says, do you still have a little bit of passion? Do it. Never live with regrets in life. Do things to the full extent, and until you've evaporated any little drip of passion for it.
Interesting.
So because of the experience in Salzburg, you rekindled some passion that you may have, or refound some passion that you might have not been so available to you at USC because of extenuating factors, or?
Yeah, it just became fun again. I mean, and I don't know if it was Salzburg per se, but it was more me athletically being able to, throw around the ball and, and be with the guys and just have fun, whether it's on the field or off the field.
In a less stress-free environment, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Good. Then we move on in your football career.
Yeah.
You played in Finland, you played in Norway.
Yep.
And then you took the opportunity to go back to the States.
Yeah.
What have you done there?
So after Norway, as I kept going in Europe and then going back to the US and coaching, I started realizing this coaching thing is kind of cool, and building on that pre-existing idea of playing smart, and I took on kind of a head coach job with Norway. And before I transitioned, I have to say Norway really formed me as a coach. That was the Domers, Trondheim Domers, shout out to them. Great group of guys, like family to me, and I'd have to say that was the start of when I realized that I was a coach. That's when I really started putting together my own philosophy for coaching and my own defensive playbook and all that stuff in there. And then from there, I actually got a call from Ken Norton Jr., who at the time had been brought on by Pete Carroll with the Seattle Seahawks. And he said, hey, we got a slot. Why don't you come and be a guest coach for us for a training camp? And I said, yeah, all right. Absolutely. I'll take the next flight out. And so the season ended in Norway, and we went to the semifinals. And then a week later, I was in Seattle. And Norton picked me up, and we went through a little bit of the playbook, which was twice as big as what we had at USC.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And
the USC one was probably already...
yeah, it was already, my size of my hand. But, and he said, don't worry about trying to learn anything, because you're not going to learn everything. and he said, know your players. Yeah. And so that's what I just started studying. You're in the office at 6 a.m, and you don't leave until 11:30 at night.
Wow.
So I was there for that training camp.
And was there any, did you hope a little bit, or maybe I get the chance to be on the staff, or maybe they hire me or something?
Yeah, I had kind of seeded it through, and Norton said, if we can work things out, maybe it could be possible. But at that time, they weren't taking on new quality control guys, which is what I would have been. But they did like how I was able to know the players well enough to help them out with understanding what is their playing style like, and then I would take guys like Bobby Wagner on like a pre-practice, like him and KJ Wright, and we would do individual work, and they liked that. and so they knew how I could work with. So they did offer me kind of a scouting position, but I knew I didn't want to be in front of a computer, and I wanted to be on the field working with guys. And I enjoyed the high school level, and so I started kind of reconsidering stuff. So yeah.
And then, if I'm not wrong, you went to Italy.
Yeah.
To North Italy.
Yeah. To South Tirol.
South Tyrol.
Yeah.
So not really Italy, but I mean, I've been in Bozen yesterday.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's interesting. It's a perfect mixture. I think you still have this Tyrolean influence, but most of the people are speaking Italian, and you have like palm trees, and it feels Italian.
There is an Italian feel. Yeah, I mean, the Italians there would say they're more Italian than the rest of Italians.
Yeah, so. But the people in South Italy would probably also say the same.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was there, and I was teaching, and I was teaching English literature, and then also that's when I actually kind of really started a full-time teaching job and coaching with the Bolzano Giants.
The Bolzano Giants. And one of your players there was Alex Ferrari.
Yeah.
Who's also now a Raider.
Yeah, he was a little thing back then. And then he started working out and getting strong. Yeah.
John, do you have any question? If not, I just move on.
Keep going. I'll interrupt when I have one.
Perfect. So you have been in Italy for the last 6 years, right? And I can remember you've been in contact with Sean already a couple of years ago, right? How was it?
Yeah, probably. For a while, I met Nick through Schmitzberger Jakob.
Yeah.
Salzburg.
Salzburg, yeah. So that whole Salzburg,
and so Jacob was a physio here, and in 2017, Jacob and I were working really intensely to change my body because I couldn't move anymore, which was a fun experience for me. And via my friendship with Jacob, I got to know Nick, and then Nick helped me host a QB camp in Bolzano, I think in 18.
Yeah.
And then that's when Nick and I really started talking.
And last fall, you got the opportunity to move to Innsbruck.
Yeah.
Now you are a teacher here, helping
I am.
Young kids becoming better English speakers.
Well, I've actually been teaching here in Innsbruck for now 3 years.
That's right. You were going.
Yeah. So I work with the international school here, and I'm an economics teacher.
Economics.
Yeah, they call me professor, but I don't know. That seems more college for me.
But didn't you study philosophy and history?
Yeah, and then I got a teaching credential in social science, so I could teach history. But in California, you don't just teach history; you teach all the social sciences. So,
but now you're teaching economics.
Yeah, but the credential allows you to teach economics, geography, history. You have to know kind of all that stuff. So.
And in the international school.
Yeah.
And you are a football coach.
And I'm a football coach
for the SWARCO Raiders Tirol.
Yeah.
You are the defensive coordinator of our AFL team.
Yes.
Big. What is the English word? Big. Verantwortung. What is Verantwortung in English? Responsibility. Yes, thank you. Thank you, guys.
I am learning German, right? I got to learn German in 30 days.
How many languages do you speak? Are you speaking Finnish, Norwegian?
No, Finnish. I know some words in Finnish.
But you probably speak good Italian, right?
Yeah, I can speak about a B1 Italian. Yeah, it's still not great, but yeah.
But yeah, big. I forgot the word again. Today I'm really tired. My head is tired. Responsibility. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm tired too.
Big responsibility. You helped coaching in fall. You helped coaching the under 18, and you already prepared the team at that time, the R2 for the Tyrol Cup, and you did the whole off season now with the guys. And camps are over now. Third and last camp is coming up. How is it?
It's great. I'm really jacked for this year.
Yeah.
And because we got a lot of guys that want to be a part of this new thing that we got going here. And we have it's like we're creating a new team, and we're trying to reestablish our own identity within the culture of this program that we have here. So it's a unique challenge that we have, and trying to build, because a lot of these guys haven't all played together.
Yeah.
And so it is a challenge, but then you can already start sensing they're hungry. We had our scrimmage yesterday against Bern, and you can tell they're ready. I mean, they're ready to play, and there's the level of the intensity is picking up day by day, because not only do they know what they're doing, but they have a drive to just get better and better themselves.
Cool. That's important to see, right? Because it would be really bad if the season comes closer and the energy and the hype goes down, right?
Yeah.
It should be, right, like you said, season coming closer and the guys are getting more and more ready.
No,
and everybody wants to play.
Coach Flo did a great job trying to plan out all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I was a bit skeptical because it was kind of information overload from the beginning. And he said, no, I mean, it's going to be that way. But then once we start, slimming the plays down, then they'll feel more confident. And that's exactly what's happening. The guys are feeling more confident. They're flying around, and even the guys we have a lot of guys that have never played the game before.
A lot of rookies. Yeah.
We're teaching just rules like what is a yard, and even those guys are starting to kind of feel their way through. And I think what I took a lot from SC was Carroll just putting guys, feed them to the wolves and believe in yourselves. And it might not look good in the beginning, but then over time you get those reps, and you take the time to meet with the coaches. I take on that same tradition that Norton did, and I invite guys over to my place, and we hang out together, and we watch the film, and we share old stories, and because the relationships are probably even more important than the X's and O's.
That's true. I also learned that it's really important for a coach that the players, that they want to play for you.
Yeah.
So that they see you as a role model, mentor, or whatever, however you want to describe it, but that they fight for you on the field. That the coach is the general for the little soldiers on the field.
Yeah. I mean, I want them to be able to play for each other.
Yeah, of course.
And I want them to play, most importantly, for themselves.
But they need to trust you. They need to trust your idea.
They need to trust. Everybody has a role. Everybody has a responsibility. Everybody has a job to do. And some guys are going to screw up, and we're going to have different areas that we need to work on. But as long as we have that trusting relationship, that we got each other's back. Protect the team is rule number one.
So this is one of your keys, like protect the team.
Protect the team, communicate and commit, and bring that effort and finish. And that's something that Flo and I have brought together on this team is, protect that team. It's all about competition, and it's competing with yourselves and competing with the guys around you.
Since you played or worked with so many big coaches, would you say that you tried to do what Pete Carroll or Norton did with you, like this positivity thing and this trying to push guys to their limits?
Yeah, I'd say, I think just like you grow up with your parents, you take stuff from your parents, you take stuff from your coaches, you take stuff from everybody that's formed you in your life. But I think what I try to do is, for me, it's not a matter of the positivity. It's a matter of what is the reality, what is the truth, And so one thing that I've brought from Carroll is the idea of, okay, let's tell the truth on Mondays, right? And let's be. It's not a matter of being positive or negative. Let's just say who we are. Let's reestablish who we are on Mondays, right? And then Tuesdays, it's all about the ball. right? It's turnover Tuesday, and we're trying to get after the ball. So this is more in the locker room, but we got one of these swords, right? Right? It's a turnover sword, and so every day, and this is the competition that we bring in every day. Whoever got the turnover the last week gets to hold that sword and go into the offensive room and say, "Hey, Belici, we're coming after you today. You're giving up that ball." Right? And it's a matter of kind of like this, it's all about us. Let's keep this all about us. It doesn't matter who we're playing out there, right? It's all about us. It's all about this team right here and right now.
That's cool. So do you think the people should be excited about the season? I mean, you are. It seems like you are really excited about the season. It's 2 more weeks and then the season opener against the Telfs Patriots. What can the Raiders fans expect from your defense and from our team this year?
Yeah, well, there's a famous MIT physics professor, right? And he says, the students always ask him, Professor, what are we going to cover this year? Right? And he always says, it's not a matter of what we're covering, it's a matter of what you will discover. So what I would say is be ready to discover what we are going to open up with.
That's really philosophical. But now I'm excited too. Sean, are you excited?
Of course. I think it's it's the first step into a new world for us and a new system and a new structure, and they just get to lead it off a little bit earlier than the ELF team. I think we're evolving as a club, and I think there's a lot of things to be excited about from top to bottom, and this is just another one of them. And now I'm watching their huddle film. I'm excited to watch their scrimmage against Bayern yesterday, and I watched their 1s versus 1s last week, and I'm excited to see them play just as much as everybody else, I guess, because it should be exciting. It's the foundation of our men's level, and it's very, very important.
And it's great to have so excited, how you say it, like engaged coaches, and it's cool to
pushing that energy.
We
cool got a lot of young
because
coaches.
I could see already, like, you started getting hyped when you were talking, and it's cool. I probably sneak one day into the defensive locker room before game day and listen to your pre-game speech. It's gonna be interesting. Before we are coming to an end of this show, for all the fans out there, you can ask questions, and we will also go to the chat again, and I will check all the questions we had here, and we will answer them. There is a question, wie viele Dauerkarten für die ELF verkauft wurden? Weiß ich gar nicht, aber du kannst da reinschauen, jetzt blöd gesagt, und die Sitze zählen, aber es sind schon einige weggegangen, also wer noch einen will, eine Karte will, auf einem sehr guten Platz, sollte sich beeilen. Was sagt ihr zu dem Rücktritt von Birdsong? Was bedeutet es für ein Team, zu diesem Zeitpunkt den QB zu verlieren? Sean, that's maybe a question to you. Mike Birdsong, the quarterback of the Leipzig Kings, just retired because of health reasons. And what does it mean for a team to lose a quarterback so close to the beginning of the season? What's your opinion?
I mean, it's obviously not ideal. It's far from ideal, but typically when you're building a team, Americans are easier to replace than, most certainly locals and Europeans. And, with the ELF rules, he wouldn't be allowed to practice yet anyway. So it's not like there's wasted reps. That just, it's a stressful situation to trying to find a QB in 5 weeks. And so it's far from ideal, but Leipzig, I'm sure we'll find a guy who can play and be in a perfectly good position at the start of May, just like everybody else.
Ja, there's still enough time. You're right. Dann die nächste Frage, ob wir Einfluss auf dem ELF-Show haben, weil der Balu möchte gern ein Sean Shelton Jersey kaufen. Haben wir und wird sicherlich bald News dazu geben. Dann Clay, Ray and Kush. Sounds like a boy band.
Actually, funny story. Our rookie initiation was that they had to do NSYNC. Was it NSYNC or Bye Bye Bye? Who did that? Was that Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
I think.
Don't act like you don't know. It was NSYNC.
It was NSYNC. Yeah, they all were. Well, actually, it wasn't Clay. It was Sanchez, Ray, und Kusch together.
Okay. Ob wir Sammy on the Road kennen? Ja, kennen wir und ja, vielleicht laden wir ihn mal ein zu uns, dann kann er auch bei uns mal aus Innsbruck streamen, würde uns freuen. So, dann schauen wir weiter. Was haben wir noch? We covered this. Garrett is a typical Italian name. Yeah. Ja, und das war's auch schon mit euren Fragen. Dann kommen wir zu den letzten Fragen von meiner Seite. Or Sean, do you have any questions to Nick?
Yeah, I have an interesting thought. Now that you've been in the Raiders program for 8 months or so, right? Since last summer, let's say. I'm curious of if you can briefly compare and contrast, the Italian league and Bolzano with the Austrian league. What are some similarities? What have you taken from your experience as DC, as Bolzano, to prepare yourself in the AFL as well?
Yeah, I'd say there's just a level of professionalism that's at least with Innsbruck. I don't know how the other teams are now inside their programs around, but I would say for Innsbruck that there's just a certain level of professionalism and organization that goes with the people that are on the staff. But then there's lots of people that are around it. There's the team the people that always go unnoticed. The team managers and the other players that come around that just want to be a part of it.
Schneid.
Exactly. And they do a ton of stuff that that nobody really knows or maybe sometimes appreciates, and it's all these different little pieces that come together that make everything great. And a lot of programs miss that, and a lot of programs don't understand how to facilitate a lot of people that want to be a part of a program. So I'd say that would be the biggest difference between Innsbruck and programs in Europe, but also in the US, because there are a lot of programs that don't match up in the US to this, youth programs especially. Whether it's high school or Pop Warner, that don't have whether it's the resources or the want to make this work.
This is also what Sean says so often, like the facilities
I tell these kids they have no idea. They're so spoiled, and they don't know any better. They're normal. But to practice in a $7.3 million training facility as a 12-year-old is not normal. To have a professional coach as a 12-year-old is not normal. And it's these kids are really blessed. It's really, I say this often, and that's why I'm asking you, because I'm genuinely curious, because I know I'm 100% biased towards the Raiders, but I always call the Raiders a little bit of a football utopia, and obviously we have our flaws. We're far from perfect, but it's a special place to be, I guess. I'm glad you're a part of it now, to be honest.
Yeah, thank you.
Veso is saying in the chat, the kids don't know the struggle of Sieg Langer. Sieg Langer, our former facility. Do you know that, or did you heard stories about it?
I've heard stories, but I think I've practiced in my own Sieg Langer.
Yeah, exactly. Every kid in the States has a Sieg Langer. I practice on a field just as bad. I mean,
well, SC didn't have a great field. They used to spray paint their field green. So,
really?
So they gave the impression.
That's the old Vienna Viking trick.
Oh, okay. Not to be polemical or
spray paint sand.
Okay, let's move on to the last questions. Our Entweder-Oder Fragen. Nick, I tell you two things and you have to pick one. There is no between, and you have to pick one. And we do it as quick as possible. Comedy or drama?
I'm actually very intrigued by this.
By this one or others?
Very intrigued. All of it.
Okay. Drama.
Dog or cat?
Dog.
Chocolate or gummy bears?
chocolate.
Backpack or suitcase?
That's suitcase.
Oh, really? Interesting.
First one.
Soccer or Formula One?
Soccer, I guess.
Mercedes or BMW?
BMW.
Watching TV or doing a puzzle?
Doing a puzzle.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
McDo-
It used to be tea.
Oh,
but
really?
now yeah, so you live in Italy now.
Yeah, best coffee in the world. McDonald's or Burger King?
Burger King.
Do you don't eat fast food?
No.
No, that's good, healthy.
The burger joints here are great.
Yeah,
Yeah, they got the pink middle. You know,
that's the
that's
best.
key.
Car or bicycle?
Bicycle.
Beer or wine?
Beer.
Partying or chilling?
Chilling.
Black or white?
Black.
Superman or Batman?
Batman.
Nice. There not many guys say Batman. I don't know. why.
I had 50 Batman figures that I would line up, and I had a whole Bat cave.
Oh, really?
I was a Batman freak. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
My mom would attest to that because she had to pick them up after me.
Nice. Mountains or ocean?
Mountains.
Fruits or vegetables?
Fruits.
Chaotic or being organized?
I can't say organized chaos. No.
No, it's no. There's no between.
Organized.
Traveling or staying at home?
Staying at home now.
Apartment or house?
House.
Preparing food by yourself or ordering food?
Preparing food by myself.
City or countryside?
Probably more the city. Yeah.
Sweating or having cold?
Freezing.
Freezing.
I don't mind the cold.
Basketball.
The cold never bothered me, anyways.
You know, I always say I'm not too cold because I have a warm heart.
Basketball or football?
Well, football.
Cheerleading or cheer dance?
This might be a dangerous one, right? Cheer dance.
Nice. That's it.
All right.
Now we know you a little bit better, and it was really interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think you had a really exciting football life.
Yeah.
It's not often that, like I said, I have the chance to talk to a former Division 1 football player, and it's cool, I think, for the people here in Europe and Austria to know a little bit more about it, because you only know it from the TV, and now we got a little inside view of USC and cool. Nice to have all these informations now. Sean, do you have something to say?
No, I just wanted to point out the fact that Nick is a dog person that prefers puzzles and suitcases. I don't know if we've had
this combination
that combination prior. I'm not so sure.
Let's move on to our last category, and it's the Spotify playlist. And I warned Nick already, and Sean, I don't know if you are prepared, but we will start.
I am always prepared.
Oh, you changed camera angle. Wow. But today you are the first to pick a song.
I'm going to go with Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus.
Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus. Okay.
I mean, the last one was a classic.
Yeah, I'm a little bit. I take the shotgun approach
Yeah.
to these Spotify playlists. I'm a little bit all over the place in terms of my selections. So not many people would go from Sam Cooke to Miley Cyrus.
That's true.
I will take Will Varley, King for a King. A really, really nice song about a man's life with all the phases of life. So it's a really nice song. I like it a lot. And you, Nick, which song do you pick?
I'm going to go with Roots by Zac Brown Band.
Ooh,
Roots.
good song.
Zac
Brown.
That was right.
Yep.
Zac,
right there. Yep.
Zac Brown Band. Okay, perfect. Pirates Cove. And for you guys out there, here is the link to our Pirates Cove playlist. Listen to these songs. It's an awesome playlist of a lot of nice songs. And then we are already at the end. Nice. Hour and 15. Sean, your last words to our audience.
Just kind of piggybacking off what we talked about earlier, people should be really excited about the AFL team and this new step that we're taking forward as a club and this evolution of the club, and still being able to compete at that AFL level and like I said, being the foundation for our men's program is something to be excited about and something to support and something that is very important for our club. So come April, particularly the home game against the Vikings, come watch. It's going to be good football and it's going to be exciting.
Nick, your last words to the audience?
Let's go Raiders. See you out there.
Awesome.
Raiders.
Wir bedanken uns fürs Einschalten. Es war heute eine bisschen langsamere Sendung, weil mein Kopf noch nicht so schnell gearbeitet hat. Aber es hat unglaublich viel Spaß gemacht. Ich hoffe, für euch war es auch interessant. Für mich war es super interessant, Nicks Football-Leben zu hören und zu erfahren. We are really happy that you are here in Innsbruck now and not coaching anywhere else. I think it's really cool to have you on the staff, and our boys are hopefully very happy with you because, like I said, it's not usual that you have a former USC starting linebacker. Sorry for the starting. Linebacker who is your coach, and I think that's really great. And if you want to become a linebacker for the Raiders, then join us. There's still some open spots, and then you can be coached by this awesome young man. Vielen Dank fürs Einschalten. Wir verabschieden uns. Wir sehen uns nächste Woche Montag wieder. Es war super cool mit euch. Nächste Woche dann neue News, vielleicht einen neuen Gast. Und macht es gut, bleibt gesund, kauft Tickets, folgt uns auf unseren Kanälen. Und wer Football spielen will oder irgendwas anderes bei uns machen will, meldet euch. Wir haben für alle einen Platz. Und ich gehe jetzt hier auf Ending, wenn ich es finde. Jetzt, da ist es. Danke fürs Einschalten. Ciao. Vielen Dank.